Whether you're single or booed up, the whole point is this. You're the main character. Everyone else is a guest star.
Okay.
That deserves I don't think a lot of people have an appreciation for self-love. Makes it easier to be in a relationship because it also creates a deeper level of understanding and appreciation, because when you're fighting to figure out who you are, the people you surround yourself with, you are then trying to push them in your image. So you're trying to get them to do what works for you because you're still at war with yourself and you're trying to make the whole thing work.
Yep.
So welcome back, everybody, to the So You're 30 Now What podcast. This is our first episode back for 2026. So welcome. In the house today, we have our usual group, Leilani, Onasia, Patty, and I'm Tracy. I'm going to be the host for this session. But before we jump in, how was everybody's Christmas, New Year's? What are you aiming to do in 2026? Quick recap.
We went to Backstreet Boys. That's what we should cover. We went to Backstreet Boys plus Vicky. That was really fun. That was a great post-Christmas, early New Year's Eve activity. Honestly, I know you said that it's the beginning of the new year, but I felt like I lived half a year already.
I'm like, how are we end of John?
Seriously, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Why is it not June yet?
Literally. So 2 days we're done.
Well, at least there's cool weather.
Yeah, that's why I'm in my half zip today.
Cool weather, but then making my scientists act up. So
you know what that is?
It's okay.
My shirt. Dramatic. It's not that cold. Okay.
Oh God! Yeah. But my New Year's is good. Our Christmas and New Year's is good as well. Like O said, we went to Backstreet Boys, had a great time. Still getting feedback on our video, by the way, guys.
Oh, nice!
People saw our video. People come to me to sing, and I'm just like, "What are you? What are you doing?" and I'd be so confused. I'm just like, I'm like, you're Vegas. I'm like, oh yeah. Me and my friends. I'm like,
choreograph one.
We should have did the bloopers to show
what it's true.
How many times we had to do that. Actually, that I did not want to do it.
We didn't do it too many times. I'll give us props. We didn't do it too many times. For the rush that we were in, I think we did pretty good.
I think so.
For the New Year's, nothing. Same old. Just getting my life together. As you guys know, I started at my old job. A couple of months ago in a different department, so just gearing up for leading some inspection. So looking forward towards that challenge. Is going to be something I never really done before. I've been on the outside of things, so I'm actually going to be inside doing the inspection. So looking forward to
don't come for us. I need some time.
I don't care if you come for us. I don't know who deals with that.
It's not me.
No.
But yeah.
Oh man.
What about you, Nanny?
Lalani lived half a year or two.
I tell you,
3/4.
January been long.
It's been a very interesting January, but I am thankful. I'm grateful. A lot of nuggets I've already learned. One is it definitely takes a village to raise a family. And
Auntie of the year.
Big up yourself.
And big up to all the single mothers, yo. Like, I don't know how y'all do it.
I consider myself to be a single mother, by the way, so I accept that.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
They don't make no awards for that.
I don't know how they do it and how they do it every day.
Trophies.
In and out of whatever. I don't know. I'm just in awe. This experience of January has me in awe.
How long you been parenting?
Like a week and a half.
You know what she said?
Bro, it's about 3 weeks.
Both of them?
I'm still
both of them. Yeah, both of them.
Oh no. Give Lalani her award because I have my nephew for 24 hours and on the 23rd hour, I call his mother. It is time.
It is time.
So,
that's my friend.
You go, girl. No, 2 kids is a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, my brother went away for a week. And then also my sister-in-law went away. So I had them all for 1 full week. And I was just like, whew, okay, well, this is different. Coming from having 0 kids at all to
school drop-offs.
So I'm
all
like,
their little needs.
Yeah. All those little kicks at night and different things and cuddles. Yeah. But I love, don't get me wrong. I love the experience. But it's one thing where it's like can't live with them, can't live without them. So it's been an interesting January, but to say the least. But yeah, big up yourself, Lanny. Snaps for you, girl.
My sister can't ask me to take care of her kid for a week. Sorry, not Drew.
Oh, little Drew.
I would be fine with my nephews. They're self-sufficient.
Because they're older, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
As long as they have Wi-Fi,
They okay.
Fine.
You're like, leave
and
me
I
alone,
just have to
actually.
feed them.
Feed.
I can
Yeah.
do that. I can cover those things.
Google girl.
Yeah.
You next.
No, my holiday season was really nice. Lots of family stuff. But right now, this quarter for me is buckle down quarter. I have my dive master's course that I'm doing right now. So I have to do theory for that and work on the weekends. And what else am I doing? Oh, renovating my apartment. Which is my first experience with renovations and just house stuff like that. So yeah, I'm like buckle down, get my stuff in order for this quarter.
I feel like house stuff could be a whole episode.
No,
House stuff,
1,000%.
literally.
landlord, just being a girl in the middle of all of it. Yeah.
And just feeling like you're going to be scammed because I'm like, I don't know what these things cost or like, what do they do? Do you actually need this thing? Anyway, that's another episode.
Full whole episode.
Definitely want to scam me.
For this episode, so I am hosting today. I'm giving P a little bit of a break. Because we are starting our book club edition. And the first book that we're going through is called Single on Purpose by John Kim. Oh, yeah. So go pick it. So first of all, this is not just for single people. So don't tune out. Continue to listen to this episode.
And we all been single at some point in our life, so
Exactly.
people should not tune out.
Yes, but it makes it very clear that this is for people at all stages in whatever their relationship status is. So highly recommend. But this is one of the books that I read last year that really impacted me. And I, I think I mentioned it in the dating episode where I was like, there are a lot of gems in it, but the main kind of overarching thing, and we're going to go through the various themes, but the main thing is, coming back to yourself, living a life that's full, that's meaningful, finding happiness and love from within, so that you're not kind of outsourcing those things or finding them from external sources. So a little bit about the author, John Kim.
You know him all? Just kidding.
Girl. Apparently he was actually really well known before this, but I didn't know him till this. But anyway, so sorry, John, but love the book. So he apparently he is actually a therapist. And he got really popular for a blog that he started after a really rough breakup, and it was called The Angry Therapist. And so I haven't read the blog, but I like a lot of people, well, just based online, a lot of people knew him from The Angry Therapist. And this man must have really went through a lot because like even on the front, it says, I used to be a miserable fuck. And I was
So
like,
honest.
wow.
So honest.
Cool. Yeah. But what I like about the book is he not only like draws on the experience of that particular breakup, but because he's a therapist, he brings in a lot of like the experiences that he's had with clients and how he's helped them process through things. And so I found it really relatable. And it's sort of like self-help, but also like pep talk, but also really funny. And he just talks like, it's really easy to read. So, for people who feel like, they don't want another like self-help book to read, it's actually really easy to read. So read it.
People who feel that way actually need the help. Just want to say that. Sorry. It's my Coke. It's making me spicy.
Dead.
Coca-Cola, by the way.
None of us
Differentiate in this world.
Yeah.
People may be listening and not watching the video, and then next thing you know, there's a rumor that I do Coke.
Not tomorrow.
Yeah, right. So to be clear, I am drinking Coca-Cola in a cup with ice.
Thank you for
Sorry.
clarifying that.
Just sorry.
What was I saying? Oh, yes. So, okay. So, as I said, it is not for just single people.
Okay.
And, you know, one of the things he talks about in the book as well is how society glamorizes being coupled up, being in a relationship. And I think, like, particularly that hits hard for people over the holidays. So it's timely, I think, to kind of cover this now. Because you know, a lot of my friends over Christmas kind of expressed that it's just a very lonely period for people who don't have a significant other. And so in the book, he talks about, you know, society making singleness something that you need to fix, and not just actually sitting in your singleness, using it as a period for you to reconnect with yourself. And given that we're all in our 30s, I think we can appreciate, you know, there is that societal pressure in Cayman to be like coupled up. So we're going to explore the themes that I have selected. But firstly, before we do that, icebreaker question. Okay, so if you had to sum up your current relationship status in a movie title, what would it be? I'll start over here.
Why? That's so hard for me.
Oh,
You mean like
I'll
a
start
current-
over here.
I was like, no. Like a current movie title or just like like
Anything.
if you,
If
and
you-
I can make it up in okay.
Yeah, you can make it up.
Okay, cool.
Oh, I could make up the movie title.
Yeah, if you want.
Okay.
Oh, I was like, look at me in my mind, trying to find movies. I
Yeah.
Great Love. That one? Was she single in that one? I don't even know.
She's single.
Think about it like
I don't even know. Geez, if I had to sum up my relationship status right now. All by myself.
Not a singing movie title.
She's like, this is a musical.
I feel that's a part of a song, but anyway, that's as good as it gets right now. It's the icebreaker.
Okay.
mine would be probably like Safe Haven.
Nice.
I like that.
Okay.
Don't need to elaborate, or can I just keep it at that?
Girl, do what you want. It's our podcast.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess in a sense, I miss me feeling safe in my relationship in terms of being able to truly be myself without having to feel like I'm being judged. In my past relationships, I did feel like that. With my partner now, even before we actually were together, we were friends. Well, on my side, we were friends. I think he was trying to be with me. But while we were friends, and I was just oblivious to it. While we were friends, I did talk a lot about my mom, and he never strayed away from it. He never made me feel like, okay, you're repeating yourself, or whatever the case is. And we got a relationship, it became more evident that he was still very much there for me for that. Expanding into other things as well, where I felt more comfortable to talk to him about different things. And so, like I said, I felt more safe. Previous relationships, they made me feel very small. We're kind of like, why are you talking about this again? Have you not processed this through, like, you know, kind of thing. So I think a safe haven where I just feel just safe enough to be me and be okay with that.
Love that.
I should have went first because everybody's is so good. Yo, I can't think about impromptu stuff, so I'm just gonna go with what we named my whole situation based off of Galentine's, and so my movie title would be The Man Reveal.
I love this.
Right? Because
I still remember that.
yeah, because like, I mean, since we got be deep, I could add something. I think this relationship, and I'm glad this is the topic that we're talking about, because the lens that I have on a relationship and the lens I have on myself is very different between my last serious relationship, having a really good and fun single period, and this relationship. And I have learned so much. I was glad that I learned a lot about myself on my own, but I've also learned so much about myself through this relationship and this person. And so, yeah, it was a man reveal. I revealed a man to the world. I revealed a man to my friends. The man revealed himself to me. There's a lot of reveals here. It would be a really fun movie. So,
The reveal.
yeah.
I love that.
That's a good title. I would watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to sponsor a movie, I'm trying to not do the job I do. Not because I don't love it, because it takes a lot of time.
Yeah. No, I love that. And like, especially where you say you're learning a lot about yourself, because one of the things, and this is like a later theme, but one of the things they talk about in the book is not waiting until you're in a relationship to find yourself. So finding yourself during your single period, but also continuing to find yourself while you are in a relationship. And so
So what yours would be though? Because I gloss over
I
that.
just, yeah.
with
I
my
just
flow.
making
I was
sure.
in a flow.
I just making sure.
Because she was going, I said, hold on, is she going to a different part? I'm like,
Because I'm like, we're not getting too deep into this before she say hers. Okay. So, all right, fine. So when I originally thought of what mine was gonna be,
Okay.
it was so I like immediately it was gonna go with like peace in the city. Because
Not sex and
like,
First of all-
PEACE.
yeah.
peace.
Let's make it
Oh, peace like T.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh, not peace. No.
I don't know, girl.
Or
Yeah.
or that.
Play on words.
And or peace in the city. Because you know, I kind of came into this year just feeling like, you know what, like I love Sex and the City, like just movie series, everything.
Yeah.
And it reminded me of like, you know, your village and leaning on, you know, your group and your girls and everything. But then also that I am very heavy on protecting my peace right now. I mean, I think as you probably always should be, but there was a lot of things last year that really disturbed my peace. And this year, I'm like, nope, we are protecting that at all costs, whether it's work, home, family, relationship, whatever, like really heavy on just protecting that. And so I think that means like the focus then is a bit more inward, and I've been spending like a lot more time just doing the things that I want to do, putting down like boundaries, not like literally not doing things.
Yeah, you're not.
So proud.
Not doing things I don't want to do. And then so one of my friends though, I asked her, I was like, yo, because she knows kind of like a lot of the shit that I've been through last year. So I messaged her and I was like, yo, if you had to put my I asked her the same question and I was like, if you had to come up with the movie title for my life, what would it be? And she was like, The Maniac. I was like, what the fuck? And she's like, no, bro, because like, she's like, you are, you know, you're healed and I love that for you. And she's like, but you need to be unhinged and you need to like, I know. I was like, and she's like, you need to be unhinged and just like do unto others as they have done unto you. Like be
Say
a
what you want
maniac.
to say.
Yeah. I was like,
Don't do what you don't want to
It's
do.
very freeing.
no facts.
It's very freeing.
And there's guess what? As an adult, there's literally no consequences. And if there are consequences, you're also okay with that. So
Yeah.
people really just need to be living the life they want to live.
Yeah. So that's why, so I was like, okay, I can fuck with that. Like mine was more along of like protecting peace. She's like, no, be a menace. Okay.
Tracy the Menace.
I
We
mean,
like
it's a
that.
society. Okay.
Yeah. Now, what was I saying before we went into all this?
You were saying, thank God I have elephant memory. You were saying that you liked what I said
Oh, yes.
because the book talks about not waiting.
Yes.
All right,
Yes.
I got you.
Okay. So yeah, so he talks about being like wrapped up in his relationship so much that when he became single, it became the catalyst for this book because he realized he didn't know who he was outside of.
Shout out to John.
A relationship.
Sure, to John Kim.
Yeah.
I know how.
Yeah,
I feel
I
you,
know,
John.
and I was like, I can relate to that. But he was so wrapped up. So when he actually came out of the relationship, he didn't know who he was. He didn't know what he really liked, what his values were. He was completely lost. So he kind of puts this book as a find yourself, come home to yourself. You know, don't get lost in somebody else. That's why I said this is also for people in relationships. And you know, so the fact that you're like, you continue to reveal stuff and go through that process in your relationship, is when he has a whole chapter on just that. So, yeah. But for the themes, so the first theme, which is one of the main ones, is the myth of happily ever after. So again, so
Oh, sorry, my facial expression is weird.
no, like it was just like
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was the idea that one, being single means something is wrong with you. And then on the flip side, being in a relationship means that you're now good. And you no longer have to do the kind of internal work, or you no longer have issues that are going to pop up. Like it's just this happily ever after myth. So I thought I would start off with kind kind of asking, and I can just throw this one out. What's your definition right now of happily ever after? And has that changed over time? Patria?
Not me.
I know I threw it out, but then you look like you had something to say.
I did not. I got a blank. I was like, do I really believe in happily ever after? I don't necessarily think I really do. Well, I don't know.
I did. It's
guess.
a fucking
yeah.
myth.
I think it's more of a myth. Yeah, I think it's more. I think happiness is more of what you make it. It doesn't just come even more of what you make of it.
Yes.
So I wasn't necessarily happily ever after, but just happy in general, I suppose. Like, I don't know. Like you said, happy ever. It's more like a myth, and it's more like put yourself with disappointment. This happily ever after thing, but more about the actions towards being happy.
Yeah.
What makes you happy, not something making you happy, a person or a thing making you happy. It's like you're making the situation making you happy.
Yeah. No, that's like literally what this chapter is about. He's like, if you find happiness within yourself, then you're not looking for that externally. But happiness can mean different things to different people.
Yeah.
And so he really challenges readers to be like, what actually makes you happy?
Yeah.
Like, and it could be little things, it could be big things or whatever, but it's like, what actually just makes you happy?
I believed in happily ever after, but not so much in like when people think happily ever after, they think perfection. And that wasn't necessarily my view. Happily ever after to me had like a longevity to it. So it meant we were possibly not always going to have a good time, but we were here for a long time. And like John, shout out to John.
Shout out to John.
When my long time ended and it wasn't as long as I thought it was going to be, that was a very hard pivot for me. It wasn't even a pivot. I was like flat out on the floor for a while, like, what am I doing here? Yeah. And so it was interesting to me because my happily ever after was like an intertwined journey. And so I grew up with a person for a long time. So a lot of things that you do to discover yourself, whether it's travel, whether it's like doing new activities, I did alongside this person. And so my happily ever after was like, I thought that it was going to be a long time. So my perspective on that has definitely changed because when I was single, the motto that I did develop was here for a good time, not a long time. And, and as someone who is now in something that is, planning to be a long time again, I think the one thing that my perspective changed is that the one constant is me. So before, when I was in a relationship, I kind of saw it as this intertwined thing, and this intertwined thing was the center of it. And now I am the center. So like, for example, in my current relationship, if we are not having a good time, I am still going to have a good day. Because
You got things to do.
because for me, it's like, okay, we're going to work this out at some point, but I'm not going to let it consume me because there are other things that I can still get on my day with. So for example, one of my partners and I's traditions is we get coffee together every morning that we can. If we are in a tiff, that may not happen. But guess what? Onasi is still going to get coffee. Okay? And I think it was that change in perspective for me where it was like, like Patron said, it's like happiness is what you create it to be. And I wasn't waiting on another person or situation to happen for that to happen. And a lot of people think that happiness are these big things.
Yeah.
Happiness are the little things, like going to get your coffee, even if your man ain't there because you don't want to see him this morning or he was busy and, whatever it is. So that was my shift in perspective on that. So like for me, there's no more happily ever after. It's like, I'm just happy.
Girl, you jumping into my next theme. I don't need to read a book.
I live this book.
Wow.
All right.
There's still a lot of gems. Okay. But yes. So, obviously then, like one of the other big themes is self-discovery and identity. And so he talks about coming out of that relationship that I mentioned, John Kim.
JK.
Okay, JK.
Yeah. Talks about like, not knowing who he was outside of that relationship, being wrapped up, like you said, which we have probably all made that mistake. Um, and forgetting who he was when he came out of that. So Leilani, ever have you ever been in a relationship that you were just so wrapped up in that you kind of felt like you lost your individuality?
I would say yes, but it wasn't more so my individuality. It was more so my moral compass, if that makes sense. I guess there are different situations, and I haven't been in a lot of relationships, so
Well, relationships are broad because it can be romantic, it can be work,
True,
it can be
friendship.
friendship.
Yeah.
valid
Yeah.
points.
Look at you. You need to co-author with Jonathan.
I know because
JK.
like some people self-identify in a career and they don't
Okay.
realize it's a whole last relationship
Point.
and it's toxic and they should quit.
Yeah, I don't think. Okay,
Yeah, carry on.
like I guess looking at relationships on a whole, I don't think I've lost my individuality because I'm more of an introvert anyway, so I kind of just like alone time. There are times where I'm in relationships and I compromise. I go out of my way to, make others like happy. Which I feel like a relationship will call for that, but sometimes there is overkill.
Yeah.
But I don't think I could say like I've lost my like individuality, which I'm super thankful for. I think I've been in like I have a lot of like friendship relationships, and I don't know. And maybe somebody could correct me. Because I personally don't think I lost my individuality. But it's just a matter of sometimes, like, when you're in a relationship and you want it to work so much, you compromise on the things that you said to yourself you wouldn't compromise on.
Yeah.
And then I found myself sometimes starting to, like, cling to certain things. Oh, well, at least this is happening, so I'm okay. But then that stops happening. And then you go to something else. And then before you turn around, you're like, okay, who am I? And how in the world did I get here? And what do I stand for? Because everything that I thought I stood for is pretty much disappeared.
Yeah.
And I think for me, when it got to that point, I was like, nah, I need out. And it's not that particular experience was in a I guess like a partner relationship type of thing, but I'm also starting to realize that even with some of my friends, that I've decided to take a step back, not because I'm losing myself or lost my individuality, but it's more so like do you still want to be here?
Yeah.
Or are we just holding on to something that, are we just holding on to the past? Are we just holding on to years rather than substance? Are we holding on to quantity rather than quality? So, yeah. I think that's me.
Wow, thank you.
Right, it's good.
Yeah, damn.
But in those, one question,
No, sorry.
But in those ones, the last part we were just talking about in terms of like holding on to the past, like those type of friendships, do you feel it got to the point where you took a step back? Did you feel that you were probably pouring in too much into that relationship and they were probably only giving like maybe 20%, you were giving 80%? Is that kind of one of the reasons why you think you want to kind of pull yourself back? Because you're just like, what is it serving now? Because what are you now getting out of it?
Good question.
Bob?
So I wouldn't say, so it's not as drastic as 80-20. And it's not that the person isn't giving. But I do think more could be done. More effort could be put in certain situations, and everybody gets busy, everybody gets different things, but I think at the end of the day, you can decide what you want to make time for. So it was that, and it was also even just going back to protecting my peace. There's this analogy of a frog in boiling water, and essentially it's a frog, and then you just kind of ease the temperature a little.
I know where the analogy
I thought you said I used to do this at home. I was like,
I was like,
boil frogs.
Yeah.
She's a boil frogs at home.
ew, I'm terrified of frogs.
sorry, carry on.
But it's a situation where you're essentially, I was probably sitting in like probably lukewarm water, just chilling in the fire, just kept kind of turning up, and you didn't even realize until you're dead as a frog. But yeah, I'm still alive, clearly, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, and the analogy says is like all the frog had to do to save itself was jump out. Yeah.
That's deep. Yeah, that's deep. And like the self-identity part of this book, or the self-discovery part, does touch on like some patterns that you may not realize that you actually do when you're in those friendships or relationships or whatever it is. So like the overgiving, the over-explaining, the avoidance, the attachment issues, the emotional dependency, like all of those patterns that until you step away or jump out the pot, you don't actually realize that is currently part of who you are. And so he talks about having that period of singleness so that you can heal and like face those things, sit with those things, heal those things. So for anybody else that's struggling with that, read this book. He needs to pay me for all of this.
True, I'm telling you.
But P, like, I know you are obviously in your safe haven relationship, and love that for you. I love that. That's safe haven. I know. How do you keep your self-identity while you're in your relationship?
For myself, I can pretty much just keep servicing my other relationships. So I still make time for my friends, for my family, and also important for myself as well. So there's times that I'm just literally, like when I said, sometimes I can be very introverted and I'm just by myself. Nobody's around there, just at home. Got back into reading. So I've been doing like reading. I've been reading.
But not that book.
But not that book either.
I know,
but I've been reading.
Now you can.
Yeah, so trying to make time for all the aspects, for myself, for my friends, and for my family. And I kind of feel like I always kind of been that way with all my relationships, regardless if I'm in a relationship or romantic relationship or not.
Yeah.
Because I've seen with some of my friends, or some of my past friends, I should say, where they kind of put all themselves into their romantic relationship and kind of just forget about everything else. And of course, as friends, you're still there for them, but it's a little harder once they kind of, I guess, isolate themselves. And I was to myself, I didn't want to be in that position because what makes me me is myself, my village, which is my friends, and my sisters and my family. So like I said, I try to make time for everybody. It won't be on a day-to-day basis because, once again, I'm just very much introverted. So most of I'm just working and going home, but trying to, get some coffee dates, some lunches, some dinners. Try to connect at least once a month or so, just something. So, yeah.
Now, I probably know, I think the entire podcast knows what you probably do to maintain your identity. But I want to flip it. Like, what do you think your fiance does to, like, maintain himself and, like, his identity? And do you encourage him to do certain things?
Yes. But I mean, every person is their person. Like, for him, what feeds his soul is, our relationship, his daughter, and work. And for some people, that is enough. I encourage him to do other things, but he's also fine to do nothing. So I guess like sometimes doing nothing feeds his soul. And I mean, I think it depends on the person. So, like, for me, I'm not really focused on what he does or does not do because he is an adult and he is an individual, and I trust him to be the expert in himself and what he needs. But I definitely give him a lot of free time to do nothing or to do whatever it is that he wants to do. And I think, you know, I'm one of those, whether it's a work relationship, friendships, or whatever, I try to lead by example. So for me, it's like he sees what I pour myself into. I mean, I would not advise anybody to pour themselves into a lot of the things that I do because sometimes that gets tiring. But he understands that. So, like, for example, he knows my whole history. And I was like, you know, one of the things in my last relationship, he was also my best friend for a period. And so we, like, normally when you have a best friend, whether it's someone you're in a relationship with or just platonic friendship, you do a lot of things with them. And that is one of the things that I've been very intentional about now that I'm in a relationship again, where some things are just mine. So, for example, my old relationship, I introduced him to my gym. And so we ended up going to the same gym. We ended up doing the same workouts. We enjoyed that. And so guess what? My current man is not invited to my current gym. That's my gym. And it's things like, you know, my workouts, I keep those for myself. Like there may be workouts that we do together, but it isn't something that I try to do a lot with the individual. Like there's things that I keep to myself. Like, you know, I may have introduced him to my nail lady, and we may do pedicure sometime, but that is not your nail lady. So we're not going to be doing this all the time. So it's kind of just being very selfish and owning particular stuff as like, those are my stuff. And his stuff are his stuff.
So what's like a single girl habit that you would never give up? Because I know you've said you've got like different spaces that are yours.
Yeah.
And that you try to keep yours. But what's like one of the things you picked up when you were in your single era that you're like, I'm never giving this up?
No, I always been this way. This thing where you get dressed up and you go out with your friends, your man always needs to see that because he needs to know, with or without him, you always look good. Okay.
Wow.
So that is something that I did in my previous relationship. It is something I did a hell of a lot of when I was single. And I continue to do that, where sometimes you get dressed up and I go out for a girls' night, and it might be drinks. It might be a full-on activity. But it's that whole, like, to me, that looking like you could be a single girl, that's my thing. You just never know.
Yeah. Leilani, what about you?
I don't know. I have no idea. Because I feel like I just been single. Like everything I do is single. It's like,
Is your single girl habit?
like I am my single girl. I wake up in the morning, I'm single. It's like I'm just single. I don't know. Because it's funny that you mentioned just this whole dynamic of your partner being your best friend. Because for me, I'm thinking like if I want to have a partner or when I have a partner, I want to actually share different experiences and the day-to-day stuff that I do. But I also, from what you're saying, I also understand the danger of that. And then probably even experiencing some of the danger of that because, for example, like I like to go on walks and different things. And I used to do that a lot with my my partner before.
Yeah.
And now I don't have a partner. It's kind of like, But in general, I just used to walk, period. So like one time me and Tracy, we went walking, and even before my partner, I used to walk with other people. So it's like I could still pivot, if that makes sense, and it wouldn't be too drastic. I am a firm believer in, and this is weird, but I'm a firm believer in doing the same thing, but making new memories of it. So even if I went walking with my partner, but I'll continue to walk with other people and make new memories.
That was breakup advice from my
Yeah.
sister.
No, and you passed that on to me too.
And it worked, don't you?
Yeah, no, it 1,000% did. Because
That
when I
was-
moved back from Hong Kong, and I had just ended like my longest term relationship.
Shout out to Ophie.
Yeah, shout out
Big
to
ups.
Ophie for this indirect advice. Because yeah, that was one of the things you told me, and that's when I went on my first solo travel. And I did like 3 months in South America. But I was like, all right, well, I'm not gonna recreate all these memories, do all the things that I would have done with that person, because that person was my travel buddy. That person was the person I vented to for work, like literally everything. And that was probably like one of the best pieces of advice that I got at that stage that really helped me to like just completely renovate my life.
I think it creates an awareness. So to your point, Leilani, it's like, so like my current partner, like he is one of my best friends, and I realize that in the simple moments. So like when we're in bed, like we had this moment the other day where he showed me his algorithm on his Explore page, and he's like, there's Chris Brown is here. And he was like, I don't like Chris Brown like that. And I was like, look how integrated we are. We share an algorithm. And it's just like little things like that, like being able to laugh about. But I also think like in my previous relationship, I was in a different stage of self-awareness and maturity. And it's like you said, it's that ability to know like it will be really great to have this experience with somebody, but this experience is not about the person. It is about something that I like, and I'm sharing this with them versus some people. And I think people who are single and have this desire to be in a relationship thinks that the experience will be made better by the person. And it's like, no, like you need to find that joy in that experience regardless of who's doing it with you. And these are some of the things that I told Tracy, and I was like, do it alone, because the experience will only be greater when you do it with somebody else. But if the baseline is how you feel when you do it alone and it's already great, then somebody doesn't dictate if you get to do that. And that is where power lies. And I'm big on having power. But yeah, and a lot of people don't take the time to get to that spot because the first couple of times they do it, like, they're like, it feels lonely, or they kind of do that comparison thing. And it's like, go on your fucking walk and shut up. Think, clear your mind, like get the true benefit of it.
And like, I remember when you gave me that advice, I did it in small bits first. So, you know, things like going on solo dates to restaurants, because again, me and my ex used to go to these really nice restaurants and it'd be a whole thing. So I started to do those things for myself. And then I started to get competitive with myself. And I was like, bitch, what else can you do? Like, and then next thing you know, so the biggest milestone for me in that space was going to a fete by myself this year. Last year, summer. And I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Because you know, soca and fetes are supposed to be about like family and community and togetherness and, you know, the vibe and the hype and the group. And that's how I've always done carnival. But because I was traveling by myself and Kes was there in St. Lucia, so I was like, well, I'm obviously going to go. And so I was like, fuck it. Well, it's just going to be me. So I got my little VIP ticket and I coordinated my little ride and I went there by myself and I was like, oh my God, you're such a loser. Let me tell you something. I had the best fucking night of my life.
I would just about to say, you
the
probably
best
had a
fucking
vibe.
night. Nobody can, like, I have unlocked a new level of solo because it was such a vibe. And then because I make friends easily anyway, like I made friends with like all these people that are around me, like these groups of girls, like random people. But then when I wanted to dip, I was like, anyways, and I didn't have to say bye because I don't know you. And I would like dip. I went to the bathroom. I went to get my drinks. Like it was completely a night curated by me and exactly what I wanted to do. And I was like, girl.
And I tracked her and find my friends. I was like,
oh yeah. I was like, just make sure I like get back to this place by 4 a.m.
Because she does these solo activities and then she'll have like a little stressful moment. She'll be like, my phone is dying and the service is bad here, but can you track me? I was like, it's 2 a.m. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
No, correct. But yeah, that was a different level unlocked for me for sure.
Yeah.
But to your point, doing, you sound like you've done all of you have your routine of all the things that you enjoy.
Yeah.
And, that kind of leads into the next theme, which is the work of being single. So John,
JK. JK, we call him
talks
JK.
about like actively
JK.
choosing to grow in your singleness period. And not waiting around for the one, and using singleness as a mirror, because he says, during that period, it reflects who you are when no one else is around. So continuing, no, sorry, I have my whole notes here and I just misquoted this man. It reflects
Do you need
who
your
you
readers?
really are when no one else's needs come first.
Or when no one else's needs come first.
And so he encourages the solo adventures, the self-reflection, the trying new things, like not waiting for somebody to be there for you to enjoy those things. You look like you want to say something.
Can I ask a question though? Because I guess in this society that we grew up in, are you ever really alone? Because even if you don't have a partner to worry about, you also have your family. So I'm just wondering how that dynamic really is. Like, are you really ever alone or solo if you're a person that cares about your family? If you know what I mean?
But I think it's taking those lessons into all those relationships, because I think the same things that can consume us in a relationship, it happens with family, it happens with work, but it's taking that same level of awareness. So like my family knows certain stuff, don't ask me. Don't add no additional stress. Like I am an individual even in my family. Where
Fair.
and obviously family is different and family dynamics are different. But I think when I did my pivot on relationships, I did it for everything. Because it was so funny. I always found it interesting that if me and a job not getting along, I quit. I move on. I'm on my 5th job. If me and somebody have been best friends for 10 years and I am now a different person, all right, mom, we're not best friends anymore. I will refer to you in my stories as my ex-best friend. And I was a little different with it in romantic relationships and with family. And I realized it's because my love was deeper in those scenarios, but the effect on me was the same. And so I was like, well, if you could do it for a job, if you would tell a job, like, sorry, this is not in my wheelhouse, why don't you tell your mother, Onasia? So now I tell her, I was like, Lucy, that's not my problem. That's not for me to solve. Sorry, gotta go. And so I think like that is an interesting concept to explore, where it's like, you can can we choose to be alone when we feel like, and that includes in family, that includes in friendships, but I think we are conditioned, like you said, from a society perspective, where it's like, if your family asks you for something, like, even if it's not convenient or even if it's different and it's family, you help out. And I guess sometimes you do, but my best moments when I'm like, sorry, I can't help. Sorry. No, man, shit, I can't do everything. So sorry. But I think that is an interesting question, because people tend to think like what Tracy is saying, it's different if it's family or it's different if it's work. Because I've had people where it's like, oh, I can't do that because it's work. And I'm like, you most certainly can do that because it's work. Like, because if you die, they're going to advertise your job next week.
Correct.
Yeah,
Literally. You might not even wait till next week.
No,
Girl.
facts.
Yeah.
continues.
No, 1,000%. And you again have led into my next theme.
Wow.
With
I did not even read these stuff, so just letting you know that.
girl, I'm like,
Her and
But
JK
thank
got
you.
something going on.
I went through what JK went through. You crash and burn, and you have to rebuild yourself from the ashes.
well, yeah. So like he, one of the other main themes is redefining love and connection. So he suggests that yes, you can have deep romantic love, but you can also have very deep friendships, a very deep love for yourself, and also very deep love for whatever your passions are, and that could include career if that's your passion. Absolutely not for me, but like anything else that you're interested in, like you can also have very deep love in all those other respects. So Patty, what's like a non-romantic relationship in your life that feeds your soul?
This could sound really cliche, but my friendships with you guys and my other friends outside of this, most of my friendships have been, I don't know, they've been well over like 20 years. I think all been pretty
actually
solid.
found
Yeah.
a card the other day that you wrote me in 1999.
Oh,
And I was clearing out stuff from my old house.
As you see from the dates, writing cards.
Yeah, I'll send it to you later.
Hey, girl, look,
Yeah.
nice
When she said
done.
20 years, I was like, you ain't lying, girl.
Yeah.
You're like, I got the proof.
Literally. I think that's what feeds my soul. I mean, granted, I have gotten new friends along the way, clearly, as life has changed and my growth and everything, but I do cherish and hold deeply my friendships I have for over like the last 20 years or so, because I feel like we've all grown to the different aspects of our life and continue to grow in aspects of our life, and I really do truly appreciate it. So I also don't know what I'll do without half you guys. It's every time I think about it, I'm like, wow, this guy's been in my life for quite some time. Every time we looking at pictures, I'm like, wow, we still here. Like, so yeah, I think that's well, I have other ones too, but I think that's my biggest ones will be my long-term relationships. And I feel like a lot of people don't get to have that, especially looking at on this podcast, and people talk to me about it. They're like, "Wow, I can't believe you guys been friends over umpteen years. Like I would have been like my friends I had from when I was in high school. We don't talk anymore, and blah blah blah." And I'm like, fair. So my friends in high school, I also don't talk to, but I still have like the core. So and I realized that a lot of people don't even have, I guess, kind of like what we have, where we can have that longevity.
Yeah.
So I do definitely cherish that, because it's clearly not as common as I thought it was going to be.
Because you're not good friends themselves.
See?
Sorry.
And I think it's also I think it's also where we grew up as well, right? Because we grew up in an island, and in a good island where people don't necessarily leave all the time. It's not like I'm not going to compare anything about an island, but leave that there.
What island?
But like, because even I just remember being in while like Tracy and I were in Hong Kong, people used to like look at us in shock when we used to say, "Oh, we've been like friends over like 20 plus years," and they're like, "What?"
From 5 years old?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
So it's kind of like when you're in those big cities where like people move all the time and just different things like that, it's hard to develop that type of relationship or maintain that type of relationship. So I think we're very like privileged and blessed to actually be in this space, to be born in this space, and be able to foster, or at least have the option to foster long-term relationships. So yeah.
I agree, that's true.
But also, you gotta be a good person. 'Cause
Yeah,
some
that's
of my closest friendships don't live in Cayman. So
That
Yeah.
too, yeah, exactly.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
if you have good friendship etiquette, you will have good friends. So
Yeah.
if you have a friendship
Same.
problem,
Yeah.
read John Kimball.
Let me hold it up again. So they can see. There we go.
And I feel he purposely made it yellow so they can see it.
Yeah.
The book
Right. Highlighter.
Right.
You literally cannot
Muy
miss this.
importante. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, so that kind of just brings me to like the biggest takeaway from this book. You know, he really talks about, this isn't the point of this book is not about rejecting love, but it's about choosing yourself fully and building a life that's so good on its own that that having additional love outside of that is just a bonus, but it's not the whole story. And he says, when you know who you are and when you're living a life that feels good to you, then love stops being about filling a void, and instead it becomes about sharing your overflow. And I think that's probably like the last kind of few sections of the book, but it reminded me of, for anyone who is a RuPaul's Drag Race fan, one of RuPaul's catchphrases is, if you can't love yourself, how the hell are you going to love anybody else? Yeah. And I was like, facts. Now, RuPaul has been preaching this for like 20 years, and it's like such a simple thing, right? But until you start going through various things and like transitioning out of relationships and, settling into your single period or whatever, like for me, that's when it really started to hit that, yeah, you need to be happy with who you are. Pour a lot of that love into yourself. Like self-love is not just about taking yourself on I know it's not just the self-care aspect of it. Like it goes much deeper. And so that's why I find it interesting when he really challenges people to think about what actually feeds your soul. And he said, like, one of the examples he gave was that he realized that the happiest he felt was when he was on a bike, because it reminded him, like a bicycle, because it reminded him of when he was a child and he would just be riding down in his neighborhood to go to his friend's house, and they didn't have no telephones back in the day, or maybe no cell phones. I don't know. I mean, I assume they had telephones because but like he, you know, would ride down to their house to see if they're home, you know, and he'd see all the other bikes in the yard, and he'd like, okay, yeah, they sort of click at. And then he would like, you know, spend the afternoon with his friends or whatever. And it reminded me of like, you know, back in the day when we ride down to the village and you just chilling with your friends and the ice cream truck comes by. And so for him, it was like, it was nostalgic. And so he said, because at his old age, he did not want to get a bicycle. He got a motorbike. And he said it replicated the same feeling of just everything that brought back up for him. So again, like it comes back to really thinking about, well, what feeds your soul? And it doesn't have to be the big things. It could be the little thing of just like bringing back that memory of a simpler time of hanging out with your friends. So that sort of brings us to the kind of close of the themes. But before we wrap up the episode, I had a couple of rapid fire questions.
Lovely.
We gonna try it.
I don't know if they're gonna be.
Yeah,
rapid.
Yeah, I know.
I know you were bringing us so close, but that point that you made on self-love, I don't think a lot of people have an appreciation for self-love. Makes it easier to be in a relationship because it also creates a deeper level of understanding and appreciation. Because when you're fighting to figure out who you are, the people you surround yourself with, you are then trying to push them in your image. So you're trying to get them to do what works for you because you're still at war with yourself and you're trying to make the whole thing work. Whereas when you really know who you are as yourself and you have that level of understanding, you also allow people to show up that way, which allows them to be better versions of themselves. And I only learned that in this relationship because like the man just lets me be who I am. And some days I'm sparkly. Some days I'm a little cracked out. But it is just like a cycle. And but it also allows me to reflect the same for him, where it's like, as a person, you are a different person every day, but it's just little pieces of a bigger person. But that level of understanding and grace is rooted in self-love. And like, so a lot of people don't realize like taking the time to put in that work really makes all of your other relationships easier. Like, that even happens in our dynamic. So sometimes Tracy will come to me with like these list of things that are problems to her. And I'm like, okay, so what is it that you want to do? And she was like, yeah, but blah, 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 blah. And she will go through a whole cycle and then end up doing what I told her to do, which is like, just do what you want to do. And then she'll do what she wants to do. She's like, and then she feels good about it. And then I was like, I don't actually understand why you went through that long process. You just do what you wanted to do. But I'm able to do that for her because I'm like, she allows me to be who I am. So I'm just giving her the space to be who she is, even though she's going to go through this little wiggly process sometimes where I'm like, you're going to end back up at the same place.
And she'll be like, bitch, I told you that from the beginning. And
I know. So 3 weeks later, I'm like, okay, remember I had told you that? She's like, yeah, I know. I was like, okay, great. But I think that self-love thing is very important because it actually makes your relationships easier. You just like all show up. You are who you are. You leave. You go back and live your life. You come back together. That shit's easy. And life is too hard otherwise to be making all of these other things too hard.
Yep. Life is too hard and life is too short, like, to be anything else but yourself. And obviously, there's a lot of work that we can all do on ourselves, so don't show up like trash. But so let me like make that clear.
This is who I am. I'm like,
exactly.
I'm like,
well, who you are doesn't align with who I am.
I wondered where that fit because I was like,
that's a Backstreet Boys moment. Gotta go.
No.
Okay.
Not the call. Yes. Okay. Sorry. Anybody had anything else to add?
Yeah. I just wanted to add. Oh my goodness, this part. So we're talking about the self-love aspect of everything and having that self-love, especially when you're in your single on purpose in your single era, and you get into your relationships, whatever that relationship looks like, romantic or platonic, whatever the case is. But I think some people realize sometimes people, once they get into that relationship, they kind of say, okay, I don't need to work on myself anymore. And then it starts to like kind of fall apart again. It's kind of like you have to realize that you are a continuously working on yourself, a work in progress.
Yeah.
And you just have to use the tools that are there to continue to do that work in progress. So that means utilizing your village, utilizing your friends, your family, your spouse, whatever the case is.
Or go to Greg.
Or he's got shirt. Go to therapy, guys. Go Greg. Go to therapy, guys.
Yeah, shout out because
therapy.
That's what we need out there at Infinite Mind Care ad. We would kill that.
That's true. That's true.
Fuck.
But yeah, definitely, I think that's a big thing. I think I found out for myself to a certain degree because I felt, as you guys in a couple episodes ago, I was saying I at one point I felt like really lost with everything I was going through, my depression and grief, and I couldn't figure out, like, trying to figure out who this new version of Patrick was. But while I was trying to figure it out, I was still in a romantic relationship, and I was like, well, I can't stop relationships just to kind of figure it out. I had to kind of figure it out as I go along.
Yeah.
And the only how I'm able to do that is realizing, taking accountability on myself, and also then utilizing the village I have around me.
And if your romantic space is a safe haven,
Did it make it easier?
correct.
Sure, it's true.
Correct.
It's true.
Exactly. Because in those spaces, you need grace.
Yeah,
and,
for sure. And patience. Big up my partner because the patience was needed.
Yeah. Anything to add before I begin rapid fire?
Let's do rapid fire.
All right. Boom. Okay. So, first question. If you could give one piece of relationship or single life advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Never settle. Never settle. Yeah. Probably more, but that came out right. That's right. Yeah.
Dump him.
Let the first breakup be the last breakup and move on.
True that.
Fuck.
True that.
Yeah.
If you break up more than one time in a relationship,
yeah.
the relationship was done from the first time. Just be done.
It's
Girl,
true.
same.
Be done.
Face.
I gotta make it short. Be done, girl.
If I did that, I would not cut that man's shirt. If I had to look the first time.
You right.
I'm the same.
You right.
But I like that you cut out his shirt because we had a good story time.
Lesson.
Laugh over that.
I think it's consequences for his actions. Lessons need to be learned.
I love it. Leilani?
Enjoy singleness.
Yeah.
Enjoy the space that you're in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent.
You?
She take because she be asking the question. She don't got
she got bypassed. I said, excuse me. I said, her look, she gonna go cross it.
She wasn't ready.
She was like, you. Mine would be do it for the plot. And that's because
You already lived that life.
No, but that's a new thing though. But I would have told my younger self,
Okay.
still do it for the fucking plot.
Okay.
Because I think that generally I have been a very responsible person and very self-aware, and I think like I would have told my younger self, like, just do it. Like whatever it is that you want to do, just do it. Don't give a fuck about anybody else. I mean, don't be a terrible person. But I mean, I think one of my like patterns is kind of caring too much about what other people feel, or what other people think. That is verified by the people on this podcast. And it's obviously very freeing when you step into a space and you're like, I know who I am, I know what I want, I know what my values are, and so I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want to do, and whatever is aligned with those things.
Exactly. Do it like Nike. Do it. Just do it.
Just do it.
And who don't like it, so what?
Then whatever. They could deal with that. Tell them to go to therapy. Whatever.
Okay, next question. What is your go-to solo date idea? Leilani.
Either dinner by myself or a walk. Yeah.
I like to wear a big t-shirt, put the AC really cold, get under the covers, and put on a really nice movie and eat chocolate in bed.
Mine's similar to that lines. Mine's literally because I'm a foodie, so maybe literally I like lunch or dinner or something along those lines. Something food related.
Yes, let me answer. I love a solo dinner date.
Yeah.
It's probably my favorite thing in the world. And I get like dressed up. Well, depending on what the restaurant is, but I'll get like dressed up, and then I like to sit by the bar,
yeah.
and speak to the bartender, and like maybe make some friends next to me.
I don't, but yes.
I was like, you heard why my activity was in my bed because I even got
And have like a nice meal and have like some nice wine. Oh yes, I would do. And in a city in Hong Kong,
Oh, I did. Yeah.
like
I
I
do
would,
that all the time.
girl,
jealous.
favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
Okay, so next question, what boundary has changed the game for you in love, friendship, or work?
Don't start with me.
Okay.
Not worrying about what anybody has to say. At one point years ago, I used to kind of worry about what people would say all the time, or people would think. Now I'm just like, whatever, as you guys know. I just say whatever, and then whatever happens after that. We'll figure it out, or we don't figure it out, whatever.
Mine is my feelings matter too. So if whatever we're doing don't account for me in the situation, well, then I'm not in the situation.
Yeah.
So I think it's the oldest child thing where it's like you have to think about yourself and your siblings.
Yeah.
So I've always had to think about me and somebody else, and then the other person's would trump mine, or I would push it lower. But now it's like, no, it need to work for me too, or it not
It
gonna
don't
work.
work. Yeah.
Mine would be stop over explaining.
I love this episode. I said, praise God. Praise God.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, if you say no,
And also,
no explanation like that. Is that what you mean? Like, if you say no, you're not over explaining what you said no.
yeah, like,
is that what you mean? Yeah.
well, also not having to explain to somebody why I'm hurt. If I've already said to you once, like, why something has hurt me or whatever, I shouldn't have to say it again. I shouldn't have to go into as much detail. Stop explaining why I need space. So yes, if I don't feel like doing something tonight,
Just don't do it.
it's just a no, and that's it. Stop over explaining my decisions. And we just had an example today where I was trying to tell her, that I was trying to reject somebody, and I didn't know. I was going through this whole thing like
1 minute and 38 seconds.
Yeah. It was like a voice note, because I was like, should I say this? Should I do that? Should I da, da, da? And she was just like, why are you saying all of this? You're saying too many things.
I was like, you're not good at rejections.
Yeah.
So this is what you need to say. My voice note was 30-something seconds.
Yeah.
Screaming.
Tell them what Alta said. She gave you that advice as well. She's like, no is no.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
It was
that's- you
Yeah.
told me that. Oh,
Yeah.
Alta.
I was like, if your mom says this, why don't you listen?
No, 1,000%.
And Alta
she
didn't
was
give you the
just like,
explanation.
if I say no, it's no. And I was like, but she even does that with us. Like, I'll be like, do you want to watch a movie? No.
No. I love this.
And I'm like,
I should give him no explanation. Should I just don't want
no,
to do it?
literally.
And she told Tracy to do the same.
Yeah, exactly. And she was like, why are you always explaining yourself to people? I was like,
You should live by that.
God,
what
that.
would Alta do? WWAD.
I literally told her this. I was like, a lot of the problems that you come to me with, if you handle them like your mom, they'd be solved.
no, 1,000%. And she's very happy and content.
See, look at that.
See?
So, yeah, so that's mine. That's mine. It's a work in progress, but yeah.
I'm gonna skip that question.
Okay. Okay, this is the last one. What is the most... No, I'm going to do this one. What's one boundary that's non-negotiable for you now that your 20-year-old self would have laughed at?
You cannot make me cry about the same thing more than a few times. If you have deeply hurt me more than a few times, I'm either going to cuss your fucking ass out, because if I'm hurt, you need to be hurt too, or like it just doesn't work for me. So like I think the first time I'm hurt about something, I have a little bit of grace to be like, all right, you didn't understand me in this situation. I'm going to explain it to you. Never happens again. The new boundary is like, yeah, that doesn't work for me.
Fair.
No means no. I think my younger self would say no, but then it's kind of just deviate. I'd be like, okay, maybe, all right. And kind of get soft enough. Now I'm saying no. I said no.
Just a no.
Yeah, WWAD.
That's the episode name.
I know. Shout out her. She's the boundary queen that I apparently passed none of them on to me.
I'm screaming.
But anyway, Leilani?
you know, to be very honest, I am not big on boundaries. So it's very difficult for me to ask these questions. And I think I'm in the process of I need to build them. So
We here.
I just learned
so
to
it's
yell.
kind of hard for me to answer these questions. So yeah,
Do you have a non-boundary question?
Okay. All right. I do.
I'm like, damn.
like another boundary. I was like,
I do. Okay. Let me switch lanes. What's the most random thing you've ever done solo?
That's a hard question.
that's a
I'm
very
like, literally, I'm like, because it's not random. Like, I go to dinner. That's not random. To be fair, that's like, I did by myself one time. I did zip lining. I did zip lining by myself. I went to, it was for Rotary. We went for Rotary for one of the Caribbean countries, but nobody wanted to zip line. Everybody's like, oh no, too scared. I'm like, I love zip lining. And I was like, but I don't want to pass this experience because when am I coming back here?
Yeah.
And I literally did it. Scared in my mind, but yeah. So it was intended to be solo, but it ended up being solo. I just went by myself.
Okay. Let me change it from most random to just the most memorable. For whatever reason. Whatever reason that's memorable to you for.
Like solo activity?
Yes.
When I drink coffee by myself. Like when I take that first sip of my iced coffee in my car, my day can begin. And I value that moment. That is usually always solo.
That moment.
Because like while me and my
It sets your
partner
tone, right?
go
Sets
to
your
the
tone.
coffee store, I go and we drive separately sometimes. So then I get back in my car and like when I just swish my cup and I take that sip and I'm just like, I got this. I can do this. So I do that a lot of times because that's how I stay sane.
It kind of pretty much sets the tone for your day.
Yeah.
In a sense, yeah.
If you see me at 12 o'clock and I cracked out, I ain't had a coffee by myself yet.
Okay.
So it's an intentional, continuous solo.
I know.
And I don't like people to speak to me. I like to listen to the foolishness they're talking on the radio while I sip my coffee.
Okay.
That's very important.
Yes.
Important.
Okay. I think for me, watching the sunrise by the beach.
That's so
I think that's that was a
coffee.
Oh no, girl.
I never had the coffee.
My anxiety would tell me somebody going to stab me in the back of my neck while I watch.
Oh
the
my
sunrise.
gosh.
Whenever I'm on the beach by myself, I was like, bad things happen here. Sorry.
Well, okay. So at least in my case, I was in my car.
Okay.
So I was safe. Like I literally just it was the beach like right in Bodden town where like the grape tree is and stuff like that. Like that little space.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
So
yeah,
I just
yeah.
parked my car there. I was gonna get up, but then I saw another person on the dock itself. So I was like, I'm gonna just stay here.
Yeah.
Because clearly he had his own thing going on.
Yeah.
Because I found him there.
Yeah.
So like, I ain't trying to impose on your time.
so
Let me just.
respectful.
He must see the
Yeah.
car pull up. He like, oh.
It would have made me anxious. I'm gonna be like,
Yeah.
do I have to be watching what he's doing? No. Oh, that's good that you find that relaxing.
Yeah.
Mine would be the Fet, going to cast by myself. Like
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Like top tier. Never did that before. Super anxious about it and ended up having like a fucking blast. So yeah. Yeah, okay, that's it for rapid fire. So I wrote this down. I don't know if this is a quote from the book or if I made it up. But either way, it says, so I wrote down, just to end this off, whether you're single or booed up, the whole point is this. You're the main character. Everyone else is a guest star.
Always.
Okay.
That deserves a snap. I agree.
So yes, that wraps up our episode, our first episode of 2026. This has been So You're 30 Now What? I don't know what else you did to end this off, so I will just say, hope you enjoyed it.
And we'll see you next time.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.